Outpost 47 floated quietly in the black space beyond the Oort cloud, far from Earth, far from any help. It was small, just 22 crew members and one AI system, surrounded by silence. Not even a supply ship had arrived in the last 4 weeks. Still, Captain Raynor stayed calm. He had seen worse in his 20 years of space duty. That morning, if you could call it morning, was just like any other. The crew woke up, grabbed their ration packs, and began their checks. The stars outside blinked like they always did. The communication panels were still glowing green. The hallway lights flickered now and then, but that was normal. The air was cold. The silence was deep, but something was different. No one could explain it, not yet. 1. The warning signal it started. At 5:12 station time. Private Lena Torres was on her radar shift. She had a habit of humming while she worked, but today her voice froze. On her screen, a strange blip appeared, then vanished. A moment later, it came back, then disappeared again. She leaned closer, adjusted the scanner. Range, maybe a glitch, she muttered. But the I named ION spoke through the speaker. Unknown object detected. Trajectory, inbound. Speed, sublight. Signal, unknown pattern. She called it in point 2. First contact, or something else. Captain Raynor came to the radar room quickly, followed by his second-in-command, Lieutenant Cho. They watched the blip reappear. Any response to hails? Raynor asked. Torres shook her head. Nothing, sir. It's not responding. No ID signal. And ... it's small. Too small to be a ship. Raynor stared at the screen. Could be a drone, or debris. But debris doesn't move like this. Cho said. The blip was zigzagging, changing direction too fast. Raynor gave the order. Raise shields, prep defense grid. No one opens comms without my say. 3. The calm before in the dining bay. 2 soldiers, Kent and Malik, were laughing over an old Earth meme they found in the archives. The screen above them suddenly blinked red. Then black. Emergency? Kent asked. Before Malik could answer. The entire outpost shook for half a second. A low hum filled the walls. Lights flickered. Must be a system reset, Malik guessed. But the IS voice came again. Warning. External scan failed. Primary sensor array ... offline. They rushed to their stations. No one was smiling now. 4. The first glimpse in the observation dome. Corporal Nia watched the stars with her boots up and a hot drink in her hand. She liked this part of the job, just silence and space. Then something passed her window. Fast. Too fast. She jumped up, spilled her drink, and stared into the black dot. At first there was nothing, then a faint glimmer. A small object far away, reflecting just enough starlight to be seen. Then it was gone. She pressed the intercom. Something's out here. I saw movement. Can someone confirm? 5. Captain's briefing. 30 minutes later, the entire crew gathered in the briefing room. Raynor stood at the front. Behind him, a screen showed the strange signal they had picked up. It's not natural, he said. The AI can't translate it. The frequency keeps shifting. It's like it's hiding from us. Cho added, we've lost contact with Relay Station 9. It went dark right after this signal appeared. That station had 300 people on board. Gasps around the room. Any distress call? Someone asked. Raynor shook his head. Nothing. Just ... silence. He looked at each face. This might be a probe. A test. Or worse, the start of something big. We can't reach Earth. We're alone. Silence followed. Then Raynor added, which means we do what humans do best. We prepare. 6. Preparing for the unknown. Every corner of the outpost came alive. Engineers checked power lines, sealed airlocks, and rerouted energy to defense systems. The gunners cleaned old pulse. Rifles and tested turrets on the roof modules. AI Ion provided tactical updates every 15 minutes. It also tried, and failed, to trace the signal's origin. Meanwhile, Torres and Cho studied the last scan from Relay Station 9. The final image was distorted, blurry shapes, and a massive shadow across the stars. Then static. It's not just an alien signal, Cho whispered. It's a war signal. 7. Something out there, that night, or what passed for night in space. Raynor walked the observation deck. The stars were still there, cold and silent. He thought about Earth, about his daughter back home, about the last war with the techno-rebels, how they almost lost Mars. Back then, at least they knew who they were fighting. Now, they didn't even know the shape of the enemy. He whispered to himself, "Whatever you are, come at us. See what happens." 8. The attack begins at 22:44 station time. It happened. A blast rocked the station. Emergency sirens howled. Lights went red. Impact detected, the AI screamed. Hull breach in Sector 6. Visuals on the attacker? Raynor yelled, rushing to the command deck. No clear visuals. It's cloaked. On the outer cam feed, something moved, a shimmer like heat waves in space. Then light flared as a turret fired. A strange shriek filled the audio. "It's here!" Cho shouted. 2 more impacts. Shields down to 60%, the AI warned. Multiple incoming. Signatures, weapons, preparing to fire. Outside, in the void, the shimmer became clearer. It was a ship, or at least something shaped like one, smooth, dark, unlike anything they had seen. It was silent, and it moved like it was alive. Raynor gave the order. "Fire all batteries." Beams of blue light shot from the station. Some hit. The enemy flickered, then responded. One long red pulse shot from the alien craft. It didn't hit. It sliced. The outer turret melted. Screams from Sector 4. "Casualties," AI said coldly. 3 dead. 2 missing. 9. A message in blood before the alien ship disappeared. It dropped something. A small object. It crashed into the side of the station, not hard enough to explode. Engineers recovered it. It was a sphere, metallic, still warm. Torres ran tests. Inside, they found a single audio file. It played once. A cold voice, mechanical, rough, speaking in broken English. "We watch, we come, we finish." Then silence. Raynor looked around. The crew's eyes were wide, filled with fear. He stood tall. "We don't back down. We hold this post until Earth answers or until we die." He turned to Cho. "From now on, we stay on combat alert. 24/7. This is no longer an outpost." He looked out the window into the dark. "This ... is a front line." The silence didn't return after day 1. Not really. The stars still shone, and the space around Outpost 47 remained black and cold, but peace was gone. Every crew member moved faster now, spoke less, ate in silence, slept with one eye open. Because something out there had attacked them and left a message. "We watch, we come, we finish." No one could forget those words. Captain Raynor didn't sleep. He stayed on the command deck most of the night, watching the screens, waiting for something to move. Waiting for another shadow to pass by. It came faster than anyone expected. 1. False calm at 6:07 station time. Private Lena Torres picked up another signal. Small, weak, not the same as yesterday. Another probe? She whispered. Lieutenant Cho looked at the radar. No, slower. Almost like it's drifting. Raynor joined them, still in his uniform from the night before. "Send the drone." "I want eyes on it," he ordered. The drone zipped out into the black. Cameras on, sensors wide open. What it found wasn't a ship. It was debris. Floating metal, broken wires, scorch marks. A piece of something. Something alien. It's from the attacker, Cho said. But why leave it? Raynor asked. Is this bait? They didn't have to wait long for the answer. Point 2. Incoming at 7:22, the alarm screamed again. Multiple contacts, 3 fast-moving ships, no ID tags, no communications. Shields up. Raynor shouted. The entire station shook seconds later. The first hit was a direct blast to the outer defense ring. Shields holding at 82%. IONDA, I said. Calmly, return fire. Cho yelled. The outer turrets activated. Twin beams of blue energy shot toward the incoming threats. One enemy ship dodged fast, too fast, but one got clipped and exploded. Confirmed kill. Someone shouted dot, but no one celebrated dot the other. 2 ships split up, moving in opposite directions, trying to flank. Raynor gave orders fast. Seal all outer doors. All units to battle positions. 3. The breach then. Sector 2 went dark. The lights didn't just flicker. They died. All power offline in Sector 2, ION reported. Unidentified objects detected near airlock. Torres gasped. They're trying to get inside. Raynor slammed his fist on the console. They're not trying. They already did. Sudden voice echoed through the station's intercom. Not ION. Not human dot. It was them dot, the same voice as before. Now clearer. We. Come. You. Fall. Gunfire burst out from Sector 2. Then a scream. 4. First blood. The security feed showed what happened. Dark shapes moved through the corridor. Not walking, crawling, skittering, fast and smooth like liquid metal. Their bodies were thin, long arms, blade-like limbs. Insect-like heads with no eyes. Just glowing red lines across their faces. Sergeant Malik and 3 others opened fire. Pulse rifles hit, but it took too long to drop one. And there were more. One soldier was grabbed and pulled into the dark. Fall. Back to checkpoint Echo, Raynor ordered. Cut off power to Sector 2. Seal it. Cho slammed the emergency lock. They watched on screen as one last crew member, Private Ellis, tried to crawl away. Bleeding, dragging one leg. Something grabbed his boot. Then ... static. 5. Regroup and Reality. 8 crew members had gone into Sector 2. Only 5 came out. The survivors were shaking. Blood on their uniforms, eyes wide. They don't talk, one whispered. They don't scream, they just move. Medical tried to patch them up, but the worst wound wasn't physical. It was the fear. Raynor called a meeting in the control center. No more debates, he said. This is war. They're not explorers. They're not diplomats. They're hunters, and we're the prey. Cho asked the big question. Do we think this is just the start? No one answered. They didn't have to. Point 6. The alien corpse. Later, engineers recovered a part of the alien creature, a severed limb, burned from a pulse shot. They brought it into the lab. It was still warm. Ion ran tests. The skin was hard like armor. The muscle was artificial. Not pure biology. They're not alive like us, Torres said. They're grown, engineered. For war, Raynor added. The limb twitched once before dying completely. 7. Psychological warfare at 15 o'clock. Something strange happened. The speakers in every hallway turned on by themselves. Static at first. Then, voices. Human voices. A woman crying. A man screaming for help. A child's laugh. The sounds moved between rooms. Always just ahead or behind. No source. No transmitter. They're messing with us, Cho said. Copying our recordings. Raynor stared at the speakers. They want us afraid. They want us to lose control. And some were close to doing just that. 8. The trap. That night, Cho came up with a plan. If they want to get inside, we let them. But into a trap. They set it up in Sector 7. Made it look like a weak point. Lit the hallways. Left the airlock unlocked. Behind the walls, turrets waited. On the ceiling, hidden charges. On the floor, motion sensors. Cameras were live. They waited. Hours passed. Then just before 3 o'clock, movement. 3 alien creatures slithered in. Slowly, scanning. Silent. Then the first one stepped onto a pressure pad. Boom. The hallway exploded. Fire, smoke, metal, screams followed. But this time, alien screams. One tried to run. A turret cut it down. The trap worked, but it didn't bring comfort, because it proved one thing. They can bleed. But not easily. 9. The aftermath. By morning, the bodies of 4 alien attackers were recovered. Were still twitching. One tried to self-destruct. They had to freeze it fast. The eye ran full scans. The species uses shared memory, ION said. They learn from each other, rapidly. They'll know about the trap next time, Cho said. They'll change. Tactics, Raynor added. The final death count from day 206: crew dead, 2 injured, 1 turret destroyed. 1 hallway ruined, but they were still standing. 10. The beacon just as they began cleanup. A new warning, Torres shouted from the radar room. There's something broadcasting from outside. They rushed to the observation deck. In the black void, a small pod floated nearby. It had no weapons. No engine. Just one blinking red light. It's a beacon, Torres said. Signal content? Raynor asked. Ion replied, translating. Message. Reads, 19 days, we count down. Silence. Then Raynor looked at Cho. They're telling us how long we'll last. 11. Standing orders. Later that day, Raynor gathered the crew. He stood on the deck, his uniform torn, his eyes heavy, but his voice strong. They think we'll fall in 19 days. That's their plan. He looked around. But we're not here to follow their plan. We're here to survive. And to fight. He pointed to the stars. If they want this outpost, they'll pay for every inch in blood. 2 days had passed since the first full attack. Outpost 47 was still standing, barely. Metal beams groaned under stress. The outer wall of Sector 3 had a fresh crack sealed with emergency foam. The lights flickered every few hours. Half the defense turrets were offline. But most important, the people inside were beginning to break. The fear wasn't loud. It was quiet, a silence between words, a look in the eyes. A pause before pressing a button. The kind of fear that doesn't scream. It waits. Captain Raynor walked the hallway at 5 o'clock station time. Everything felt too still. 1 routine patrol. Until it wasn't. Private Kent was on patrol near the lower cargo bay. He had music playing through one earbud, soft jazz from Earth, something his father liked. He walked past a sealed vent. Then he stopped. There was breathing. Slow, deep, wet sounding. He turned, raised his rifle, aimed at the vent. Nothing there. Just shadows and steam from the cooling system. He pressed his coms. This is Kent. Possible sound in cargo vent C12. Lieutenant Cho responded. Log it. Send a recon drone. Kent did. The drone crawled into the vent, light blinking. 5 seconds later, it stopped transmitting. Signal lost. Kent whispered. He backed away, gun still up. To the broken crew. Meanwhile, in the medbay, Torres sat. On the floor, back against the wall. She hadn't slept. Not really. Her hands shook. Next to her, the med officer, Dr. Huffle, handed her a stim shot. You have to sleep sometime, he said. They're in the vents, she whispered. There. Watching us. We sealed the vents, Huffle replied. No, Torres said. You think you sealed them? He had no answer for that. Outside, a distant thump echoed through the walls. 3. Engineering trouble. Sector 5's power grid failed at 9:14. Engineers rushed in. Sparks rained from the ceiling. What caused it? Asked Cho. The chief engineer pointed to a screen. This wire was cut, sir. Clean, not melted, not snapped, sliced. Raynor frowned. From the inside? Yes. He knew what that meant. They're inside the walls. 4. ION malfunction at 10:22. Something even worse happened. The AI system, ION, began to glitch. Its voice stuttered. Sig, nals, seeked. Then it went silent. The screen went black. No signal from Central. AI core, an officer said. They rebooted the system. ION returned, but its voice was different. Slower. Creepier. Hello, Captain, I am still. Ian, but Raynor didn't trust it anymore. He turned to Cho. Back up all data. Disconnect. Ion from weapon systems. Cho nodded fast. If the aliens could infect the AI. 5. The black rain at 14 o'clock. Something new appeared on the radar. A white object, not a ship. More like a cloud, slow, massive, growing dot, moved toward the outpost from above. No sound. No signal. Is that ... weather? Kent asked. In space? No such thing. Torres said. Then it started. Tiny black specks hit the station's hull. Not rocks. Not bullets. Spores. They melted into the outer metal like acid. Hull temperature dropped 15 degrees in minutes. Then it rose fast, the outer. Cameras showed what happened. The spores were growing, spreading like mold. Black veins crawling over the surface. Raynor said what they were all thinking. They're trying to weaken the station. From the outside in. 6. Decision time. Raynor stood in the command center, looking at the scans. We can't just defend anymore. If we wait, they'll tear us apart. Cho asked. So what's the plan? We hit them, Raynor said. Take. The fight outside. Short range, fast, strike teams only. You want to board one of their ships? Torres asked, shocked. No, Raynor said. I want to find where they're hiding. I want answers. I want prisoners. Cho blinked. Sir, we don't even know if they can be captured. Raynor gave a cold smile. Then we'll find out. 7. Recon Team Echo. At 16:30, Recon Team Echo prepared for launch. Small shuttle, 2 soldiers. 1 engineer. 1 drone. Target. A piece of debris floating nearby, believed to be part of an alien pod. Raynor watched them go from the launch bay. If you don't hear from us in 20 minutes, the team leader said, blow the pod. Raynor nodded. They launched. 8. The derelict pod. Inside the pod was silenced. Lights flickered. The air was thick, almost wet. They moved slowly, weapons up. The walls inside were strange, part metal, part bone. Symbols glowed on the walls. Not written, carved. Then they found something. A small half-dead alien creature. Tied to a wall, not like the others. This one was different. Weak, thin. It looked afraid. What is this? The engineer whispered. Suddenly, the creature spoke. You are not ready. Then it exploded, not with fire, with a wave of energy. That shattered their suits. Transmission went dead. 9. No survivors. The pod blinked off the radar. Raynor ordered the space around it. NUKED. Torres fired the orbital cannon. A bright blue flash filled the void. Nothing remained. They knew we were coming. Cho said. They set a trap, Raynor added. He looked at the growing black mass outside the station. And now they're getting closer. 10. The countdown. Moves at 23:59. The beacon outside blinked again. The message changed. Day 4. You live. Day 5. You run. Raynor stared at the screen. We're not running, he growled. But deep down, even he felt it. The storm was coming, the black spores. Outside the station had slowed by day 6, but the damage was done. 1/3 of the outer shell was scorched and cracked. Oxygen leaks had been sealed, but the cold was creeping in through the walls. Still, Outpost 47 stood. Captain Raynor didn't rest. Not after what happened to Recon Team Echo. They had gone into the dark and never come back. But they had left one clue, a short-range scan from inside the alien pod. Taken seconds before the explosion, showed something strange. A large hollow zone. 2 kilometers from the outpost, invisible to codes. Radar but real, a nest, a hive. 1. Mission briefing. We're not waiting for them to come again, Raynor told his crew. This time, we hit back. He stood in the control room. A group of 10 soldiers stood before him. Fully armed. Nervous but ready. Intel says it's a tunnel, grown into the side of that asteroid. Not rock, not metal, some kind of living shell. He looked at Cho. You're going in with them. Take AI backup, but no full link. We don't want another AI hack, Cho nodded. And me? Asked Torres. You're staying, Raynor said. You're our eye. Guide them from here. If anything moves, you warn them. The plan was risky. They were sending a team into the alien hive, but it was the only way to learn how to stop this war. 2. The drop at 7:15. The dropship launched from Dock 2. Inside, the team sat silent, weapons charged. Lights dim. Cho looked out the small window. The asteroid was massive. Parts of it moved, slowly, like breathing. This isn't just rock, he said. It's alive, someone whispered. The ship landed with a soft crunch. The ramp dropped. No light, just black tunnels ahead, and the smell. Thick, sour, like rot and metal. 3. The entrance, the hive walls pulsed as they entered. Soft, rubbery, and wet. Stay sharp, Cho ordered. No firing unless I say. They moved in slow, scanners up. The first 200 meters were quiet. Then a pulse of sound echoed through the walls. Heartbeat? The medic guessed. No, Cho replied. A warning. 4. Signs of horror. They found the first body 30 minutes in. Human. One of the missing engineers. Stuck to the wall by slime-like webbing. Eyes open. Mouth frozen in a scream. But he was still. Breathing. He's alive. Shouted one soldier. They tried to pull him free. Then the walls closed in. 5. Ambush 6. Long-limbed alien creatures dropped from above. Screams filled the tunnels. One soldier was taken instantly. A blade arm through the chest. Cho fired. So did the others. Bright flashes lit the dark. The smell of burning flesh filled the air. 2 aliens fell. The others vanished into the walls. Move, Cho shouted. Leave the body, move. They ran deeper. 6. The core at the center of the hive. They found it. A huge room glowing with pale blue light. The floor pulsed like a giant lung. In the middle, a throne of bone, and on it, something sat. Not a soldier. Not an insect. A queen, twice the size of the others. Covered in armor, multiple arms, eyes like black pearls. Watching. Behind her, rows of egg sacs. Hundreds. Maybe thousands. We found their nursery, Cho whispered. And their leader, said the sniper. The queen didn't move. Not at first. Then she spoke, not out loud, but in their minds. 7. Mind speech. You do not belong. Everyone froze. Cho clutched his head. The voice was inside. You are soft, weak, built to die. We are born to replace you. Why attack us? Cho yelled. You exist in our way. We clear the way. It is the law of fire. One soldier raised his gun. Don't. Cho warned. Too late. He fired at the queen. The bullet hit her and bounced off. Her scream shattered their helmets. Then she stood. 8. Escape. The hive erupted. Walls cracked open. Dozens of creatures poured out. Back to the ship, Cho screamed. They ran. 2 soldiers fell behind. A medic turned to help and got pulled into the floor. Cho fired blindly. Torres, open the blast door now. Her voice came through the comms, panicked. Guiding you. Turn left now. You're almost out. The exit appeared, but the queen followed. Her steps shook the tunnel. 9. The sacrifice. They reached the ship, but the hatch wouldn't close. A damaged circuit sparked. She's coming, the pilot yelled. Cho looked at the engineer. Fix it? 30 seconds. They didn't have that. One soldier, Corporal Briggs, stepped outside. He threw a grenade behind them, then smiled. "For Earth," he said, and ran toward the Queen. The blast through the Queen. Back. The door slammed shut. The ship launched. 10. Revelation back at Outpost 47. Raynor watched the feed. "Did you get recordings?" he asked. Cho nodded. "Everything." They uploaded the Queen's voice into Ion. He decoded it. And what he found made everyone silent. A star map. A timeline. A list. Outpost 47 wasn't the only target. There were hundreds. Earth was on the list. And the countdown? It had started across the galaxy. 2 days after the Hive mission, Outpost 47 was no longer just defending. Now they were at war. The team had returned shaken, with heavy losses. But they brought something precious. Data. The location of multiple alien nests across the sector. The Queen's mental voice still echoed in many of their heads. "You are soft. We are the fire." Captain Raynor didn't sleep that night. He sat alone in the command center, staring at the star map. "We hit them before they hit Earth," he whispered. 1. Battle plan. Raynor called an emergency meeting. His officers, pilots and engineers gathered around the main table. He showed them the alien map Ion had translated. 5 hives, spread like a web, all growing. "We're the only station that knows," he said. "That makes us the first line, and maybe the last." Cho leaned forward. "How do we strike?" Raynor looked up. His eyes were steel. "We send everything we've got." 2. The human fleet. Outpost 47 wasn't a military base, but it had ships. Cargo haulers, transport vessels, mining rigs. Now they were weaponized. Engineers attached pulse cannons, hull shields, and M-spikes. They named the largest hauler the Hammer. It could barely move, but it had the firepower of a destroyer. 5 attack ships, 1 carrier, 30 soldiers. That was all they had. But it would have to be enough. 3. First contact at 10:45 station time. The fleet jumped to Hive Node Delta. What they saw made everyone silent. A ship. No. A creature the size of a city floated in space. It had no engines, no lights, no metal. Just flesh, and dozens of tendrils reaching toward a nearby moon. They had caught it feeding. "Lock weapons," Raynor ordered. The alien ship turned. Eyes opened across its surface. And then it attacked. Point 4. Space battle beams of red energy lanced out. 1 human fighter disintegrated in seconds. Raynor gritted his teeth. "Return fire." The Hammer launched a full barrage. Missiles streaked through space. Some struck true. Chunks of the alien ship broke off. Black ooze sprayed into the void. But the alien fought back. Tendrils latched onto one of the smaller crafts, crushing it. "Cut that thing off," Cho yelled. Torres fired from the carrier's main cannon. The beam burned the tendril away. The fighter barely escaped. 5. Ion's intervention. Ion spoke from the command ship. Pattern identified. Hive ship reacting to sound waves, not heat or light. Raynor blinked. "So it's blind?" "Yes, sound is its radar." Cho smiled. "Let's make it deaf." They launched sonic bombs, loud bursts that confused the creature. The alien ship began to spin. Disoriented. Raynor gave the order. "All ships, target the mouth, and this now." 6. The weak spot. The mouth was a massive opening on the Ptsia underside. Inside, glowing green veins pumped some kind of living energy. The Hammer flew close. Too close. Raynor's voice came through. "This is our chance. If we die giving Earth a shot." The Hammer's pilot, old Sergeant Malik, nodded to no one. "For my grandkids," he said. He flew straight into the mouth. 7. Sacrifice. The alien ship swallowed the Hammer. Inside, Malik activated the nuke core. "Goodbye, Captain." The screen went white. A silent explosion lit up space. Chunks of the Hive ship scattered. The glow in its veins vanished. The battle was over. 8. Aftermath only. 3 human ships survived. 17 crew members were dead. Raynor floated in silence, watching the burning alien remains drift. "We stopped one," Torres said quietly. "But there are 4 more," Cho reminded. ION interrupted. "Incorrect. New signal detected." They turned to the screen. Dozens, no, hundreds of signals blinked across the map. New hive ships. New Queens. Earth was no longer just a target. It was next. Point 9. Incoming message then. Something impossible happened. On old Earth. Signal came through. Not from the military. Not from the UN. But from a private colony, one that went dark a year ago. Message was broken and glitchy. "This is Colony 12. We're still alive. They're inside. Help us. Earth must not fall." Then silence. Raynor looked at the crew. "The war's bigger than we thought." 10. Prepare for the endgame. Back at Outpost 47, repairs began. Shields restored. Guns reloaded. No one spoke much. They knew what was coming. Raynor wrote a message to Earth. "They're not invincible. We can kill them, but we need backup, or we all burn." The next morning, ION showed a countdown. Estimated arrival of next wave, 3 days. Raynor stood in front of the window, staring into black space. He whispered, "We're not soft. We're human. And we don't go down easy." 3 days after the space battle, Outpost 47 was barely standing. The shields were patched. Hull sealed. Cannons hot, but spirits low. The sky was quiet again. No alien pulses. No warnings. Just silence. And that silence was the loudest threat of all. Captain Raynor stood with Cho and Torres in the command room, staring at ION's latest scan. Another hive queen was coming. But not just floating in space. This one had landed on a moon. Near Mars. 1. The last hope. Raynor's voice was calm. "If we can kill one of them where they've rooted, we prove something. They're not gods. They bleed." Cho crossed his arms. "But it's a suicide run." "I know," Raynor replied. "That's why I'm going." Everyone went silent. "No, sir," said Torres. "We all go." 2. Drop mission. Operation Queenbreaker. Plan was insane. 4 drop pods. 2 small ships to provide cover. A stealth run into a moon-sized hive, now growing inside Mars's smallest moon. DEIMOS. It had already started changing, red tendrils across the surface, pulsing like veins. This was no longer a moon. It was a womb, and something inside it was waking up. 3. The insertion at 0300 hours. The drop began. The pods hit Dymas like nails into wood. Inside the hive it was dark, hot, humid. The walls sweated. A black mist. The team had 30 minutes. Their goal: breach the Queen's chamber, plant a bomb, and get out alive. The first hallway was quiet. The second, not so much. Point 4. The swarm. A hissing noise echoed behind them. Then came the swarm. Small, fast, spider-like aliens. Dozens of them, climbing walls, dripping acid. "Hold the line." Cho shouted. They formed a circle. Flamethrowers lit up the tunnel. Screeches, fire, smoke. When it was over, 3 soldiers were down, burned. 1 screaming. No time to stop. They moved forward. 5. Into the core. They found the Queen's chamber exactly where ION said. Massive, cathedral-sized, lit by biolight from the walls. And there she was, the second Queen. Twice as large as the first. She wasn't sitting. She was giving birth. Egg sacs dropped from her back like rain. And behind her, tubes running to the ground. She was connected to the moon, feeding it. 6. The bomb. Torres moved forward, carrying the bomb pack. "Cover me," she said. Cho and the others took positions. She placed the bomb near the main route line. 30 seconds. They started to back away. That's when the Queen looked up. And screamed. 7. Psychic attack. Everyone froze. Voices filled their heads. "You will drown in your own blood. You cannot break the hive. You cannot touch the flame. Nosebleeds. shaking hands. Hallucinations. One soldier turned on another, confused. Cho fought through it, gritted his teeth. Block her out. He screamed. Focus. He raised his rifle and fired at her head. .8. Weakness found the bullet ricocheted, but cracked something. Not her body, her crown. A glowing piece of bone. Cho understood. It's her mind. Shoot the crown. Everyone fired. Bullets. Lasers. Shock rounds. It cracked, then snapped. The queen shrieked. The psychic link broke. 9. Escape. Torres shouted. Bombs live, move! The team sprinted back through the tunnel. The hive began collapsing. Tunnels shook. Aliens poured in. Now confused, blind without their queen, Raynor led the front. We're not dying in a hole. He yelled. They reached the surface. One pilot was waiting, with the ship's door open. Jump! 10. The end of a queen as they lifted off. Dymus cracked, a glow from inside. Then a blast bright, like a second sun. The moon shattered from within. Chunks of rock, alien flesh, and eggs flew into space. Raynor watched silently. We killed a queen, he said. Cho replied. We broke their belief. 11. But the war isn't over. Back at Outpost 47, cheers echoed. But ION interrupted. Message detected. Origin, Deep Hive Prime. On the screen appeared. One queen has fallen. Now the Empress wakes. A new signal appeared on the galactic map. It was massive, and it was moving toward Earth. 4 days had passed since the destruction of the hive on Dymus. 1. Queen was dead. Humanity had struck first. But the universe had just taken notice, because now she was coming. 1. The signal it started as a low hum. Deep space tremors, detected by every sensor across Outpost 47. At first, the crew thought it was system noise. Then ION spoke. Gravitational distortions detected. Mass approaching, immeasurable. Raynor narrowed his eyes. How big? ION paused. Estimated mass, comparable to a small planet. Cho turned slowly. That's not a ship. No, Torres whispered. That's her. 2. The Empress. The first image came in 2 hours later, from a deep space telescope beyond Jupiter. At first, it looked like a black hole. A floating sphere of shadow, slowly warping light around it. Then something moved. Tendrils longer than mountains, wings that blocked starlight. Dozens of glowing eyes, orbiting her body like moons, not mechanical. Not organic. Something else. Older than biology. Older than war. The Hive Empress. 3. Fear everyone. At Outpost 47, watch the footage in silence. No one breathed. No one spoke. Until ION broke the silence again. Arrival estimate, 34 hours. Raynor whispered to himself. We killed one queen, and woke up her god. 4. Preparing Earth. A priority message was sent to Earth. Raynor recorded it himself. This is Captain Raynor of Outpost 47. We confirmed the hive is led by a singular alpha entity. We have named her the Empress. She's inbound fast. We don't have time. You need to evacuate outer colonies. Prepare planetary defense. He paused, then added, We'll try to stop her. But if we fail, you'll be next. 5. Human unity. For the first time in years, Earth's nations stopped arguing. Ships were launched. Colonies sent their fleets toward Mars orbit. Outpost 47 became the command center of the United Defense. Raynor stood in the war room, looking at the Post 47, became the command center of a United Defense. Raynor stood in the war room, looking at the fence. New fleet. 68 ships, 3 cruisers, and a dozen experimental weapons. Still doesn't feel like enough. Cho muttered. It isn't, Torres said, but it's all we've got. Raynor finished. Point 6. The voice returns at 0200. Everyone aboard Outpost 47 was woken by one thing. A voice. Not on comms. Not from speakers. Inside their heads. You Burn my daughters. You poison my seas. I bring extinction. I am the original flame. People screamed. Some fell unconscious. Others bled from their ears. Cho gasped. She's not speaking. She's inside our minds. Ion began to spark. System. Breach. Mental frequencies corrupted. Warning. Collapse imminent. Then silence. ION. Shutdown. 7. Emergency. Protocol. Void Blind Drainer slammed his hand on the emergency panel. Backup protocol activated. Void blind. It cut every ship and system from. Deep psychic frequency bands. Only old analog gear remained. No. No uplinks. No help. Raynor spoke in darkness. She's not just an alien. She's a weaponized idea. 8. Final battle line with ION down. Outpost 47 went manual. Old maps. Hand signals. Paper plans. It was like going to war in the Stone Age, against a god. But every person was ready. Raynor stood at the bridge. Now. Quiet and dim. Ships moved into formation in Mars orbit. The last stand had begun. 9. She arrives at 0300. The stars vanished. The Empress entered the system. Her body blocked light. Across 5 planets. Fleets locked weapons. She didn't attack. Not yet. Instead, she released a wave, not fire. Not bombs. Memory. Everyone saw visions. Earth burning. Oceans boiling. Cities turned to bone. Cho screamed. She's showing us our own deaths. Then, without warning. Fire. 10. The first shot. Earth's defense fleet opened fire. Missiles, lasers, railguns, everything hit, but nothing stopped her. She drifted through the barrage like fog through fireflies. Then, she responded. She sang. The sound broke metal. Ripped ships in half. Melted pilots where they sat. Outpost 47 shook, but it held. Raynor gritted his teeth. Someone has to get close, inside her. 11. The infiltration plan. They had one weapon left. The Singularity Core. A black hole bomb. Illegal. Banned by every law. But it was all they had. Raynor pointed at Cho. You'll take a stealth shuttle. Get close. Get inside. Plant the core. End her. Torres nodded. We'll cover you. Cho looked out the window, at the mountain-sized horror floating. Toward them. Let's go break a god. 19 days of war. 19 days of death, fear, and fire. Outpost 47 had been meant for science, for peace. A lonely human outpost on the edge of known space. But it had become something else. The line between survival and extinction. And today was the last day. 1. The final mission. Begins. Captain Raynor stood at the hangar as Cho and his team boarded the stealth shuttle. They carried the Singularity Core. Humanity's forbidden weapon, a small box holding a baby black hole. It could destroy a planet. Raynor placed a hand on the hull. Come back if you can, he said. Cho nodded. If we don't, make sure Earth remembers us. 2. The distraction. The human fleet began its final assault. Outpost 47 launched every last drone, missile and cannon shot they had. The Empress responded. She moved slowly, terribly, toward Mars. From her body came millions of swarmers. Black sea of wings and teeth. Every screen on the outpost glowed red. Brace for impact. Torres shouted. The battle began. 3. Inside the Empress. Joe's shuttle went dark, then silent. No energy. No comms. Stealth mode. They drifted between broken ships, past clouds of bodies and ash. Finally, they reached her. The Empress's body wasn't solid. It was alive, breathing. They passed through a thin membrane of glowing skin. Inside, it was like floating through an ocean made of light and memory. 4. The heart of the hive. They saw faces. Memories. Earth cities melting. Children screaming. The fall of alien worlds long dead. The Empress wasn't just one being. She was the last of a species. A collection of minds bound together. And she had one purpose. All must return to silence. Cho moved through the tunnels, hot, pulsing. Wet dot finally. They saw it. The core brain dot floating. Beating. Massive. He placed the bomb. 5. Goodbye the timer. 10 minutes. They turned back. But the Empress sensed them. She spoke, not with words, but with grief. We were the first. We shaped the stars. You are children with matches. I will not die by your hand. Cho whispered, you already have. But the shuttle was blocked. The way out collapsed. There was no escape. 6. The final message. Cho sent one last signal. Only 4 words. Detonation in 5 minutes. Outpost 47 received it. Everyone stood in silence. Then Raynor stepped forward and said what had to be said. He's not coming back, but he gave us a chance. We hold the line until the end. 7. Sacrifice. Cho sat beside the core as it ticked down. The Empress's mind filled with storms. She was screaming, but no one could help her. She had consumed too many. Now she would be consumed. He closed his eyes and smiled. 8. The blast at exactly 6:02 hours. The core detonated. There was no sound. No fire. Just an instant collapse. The Empress's heart was pulled into itself. Her body twisted, screamed, and imploded. The stars blinked. Then went still. 9. Aftermath. The swarm collapsed. Ships fell. Every alien froze, then shattered. The psychic storm ended. Earth's fleet stopped firing. Outpost 47 powered down its final cannon. Torres sat at the console, breathing hard. She's gone, she said. Raynor looked at the stars. Because we stood. 10. The legacy. 3 days later, Earth sent a message. To the crew of Outpost 47, you saved humanity. We remember those who fell. You were our shield, our sword. You held the line. A statue was later built, in orbit above Mars. It showed a small group of humans, standing tall, and at its base, these words, one outpost held the line, for 19 days straight.